Hello, everyone. It's Leslie Tagorda, brand navigator here. I'm super excited to go on live today because we're going to be talking about why intentions are so important for our business and how we can crystallize our vision of our business and use the new moon energy that's coming up on Monday or Sunday, depending on where you are, to really bring those things into our brand. Hi, Ariane. How are you doing this Friday? I don't know if it's sunny or foggy where you are, but it's kind of chilly here. But so nice to be Friday. Well, anyway, I am Leslie Tagorda, as you guys already know, and I'm a brand navigator. And what that means is that I help visionary business women like yourself grow and expand their brands using astrology. It's super exciting. And, I run the business New Moon Creative. And so we have an upcoming new moon on Sunday, depending on where you are in Pacific time. I'm here in San Francisco. It's going to be on Monday morning at 3:02 a.m.-ish. So in the wee early morning of Monday, and it's going to be in the sign of Gemini. You're so lucky, Ariane. Summer is here. Awesome. So, you know, I've been talking a lot with clients about their visions. We've been talking about visions lately and why it's so important for us to have a vision. And if we have lost our vision somehow, how do we recapture that, right? And so this has everything to do with setting our intentions, right? Because if we don't have a clear vision of what we want our business to look like, how we want to stand out in the crowd, the kind of people that we want to attract, how people see us, if we don't set those intentions, if we don't have the vision for it, and we don't set those intentions, then we are like a balloon in the wind. We're only just reacting to the environment instead of kind of forging ourselves forward. Hi, Joanna. I feel like it's been forever since I've seen you. So with the new moon, and I know that I'm preaching to the choir here. You all know that the new moon is a perfect time to set our intentions. But what happens when we don't have an intention, when we've gotten so cloudy or our expectations have changed so much, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, how we can kind of get over the hump. Hi, Joanna, of creating a clearer vision. But I wanted to first talk about, and so I'm looking at my notes because there's so many things that I want to cover with you. When we are able to create a vision, this is more than like, okay, we're going to do step one and step two and how to get there. And I think that's where people get stuck because they get too stuck on the how instead of the vision is more about the feel and the what, right? In a vision, when you have this idea of like, I want to be a business owner, or I want to have 10,000 followers, or I want to be the thought leader in business and brand astrology, my vision, hello. When you have that vision, it's more than saying, okay, I'm going to take this step, and because we don't actually know what the steps are going to be. Like oftentimes there is a journey that takes us on winding roads and across rivers and over the hill and back through again. But we have this urge to continue forward because we have this feeling, right? Some of us, our visions, we can see them. Like we can see what we're wearing. We can see who we're with. We can see the car that we're driving or the money in our bank account, right? Like that's like this vision, this forward projection for us. Or sometimes you might be like me where I don't really have the visual vision. I have a feeling. I know that I want to feel giddy and excited and enthusiastic to wake up every day. I know that I want to feel empowered, that I'm helping other women business owners forge their path as they expand their business, as they explore what is possible for them, right? So who here, how do you guys vision? What is the actual perception, the sense that comes to you? Are you a sight person? Are you a feel person? Are you a touch person? Like some people might get tingly goosebumps, literally. Some people might have the message in their ears calling to them, pulling them forward. Or maybe it's you smell it. Who knows? I mean, right? If there can't just be just one way that we can see our vision, but this helps us when we're struggling, when we don't know what exactly we want, we can then just get rid of everything else and focus on how we want to feel, how we want to be seen. And that's all of the vision that you need, right? And when we have this clear vision, then we use the new moon phase to set intentions. And the perfect way to set an intention is to make a ritual out of it. Now, if a ritual sounds a little bit too woo-woo for you, just remember that we are constantly doing rituals in our everyday lives. Birthdays and weddings and funerals and all of these milestones in our lives, these are actually rituals. And so if we start to create our own private mini rituals for ourselves or in small groups and things, this helps elevate our vision. This helps elevate our intention, because now we have a community of helping with us. So I'm going to also talk about how we can set a ritual with that, right? So who here has a vision that you believe in, that you can see in? I would love to hear what your thoughts are on your vision, because we're going to be taking these visions and I'm going to be teaching you how to create a ritual of them for the new moon coming up on Monday. So now for those of us who struggle with having the vision, and my challenge to you is to look inward. If you're struggling to find the vision for yourself or your business, oftentimes we're trapped in this like outward thing, right? We're scrolling on social media and we're getting stressed and anxious because so-and-so is doing this or so-and-so is doing that. Look at how great they are. Look at how awesome they are. They sold out their launch. And this cycle of comparison and this cycle of, what's that other word I'm looking for? Comparison is like kryptonite, and competition is kryptonite, right? And because we're focusing too much on the outside, right? When we're focusing too much on the outside, we become clouded. We say, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know what I want. And then we get into this crazy cycle of nothing is working. And so if you ever find yourself in that trap of I don't know, please start to look inward. Don't go on social media unless it's really there strategically for you to look for answers. Don't scroll mindlessly. Oh goodness, the construction workers are working on downstairs. So if you can change that dialogue of I don't know, like I don't know is like doors shut, right? Things are locked up. You have no access to the opportunities that are waiting and to inspire you, right? When you say I don't know, door is locked. But if you can just add the one word, the first little tiny step to I don't know is I don't know yet. Right? Once you open the word yet, now you cracked open the door to possibilities. You're not wide open yet, but you've now just changing the verbs and changing the messaging that you're using in your own head to go from I don't know to I don't know yet. Then if you're at I don't know yet, then you can ask yourself what's working and what's not working and start creating some curiosity, right? And that's how we can start opening the door to figuring out what our vision is. Now, I can talk about just that one subject until the cows come home, whatever, like I'll love that. But I just want you to know that before Monday or late Sunday, depending on when you're going to do your new moon ritual, I'd really like you to get clear on your vision. And if you don't know your vision, you don't know yet. Once you don't know yet, start asking yourself what's working, what's not working, right? These things, when you're looking inward, start to open things up so that your vision can come forward, right? Is there anything that you can improve? Is there anything that you want to optimize? Is there anything that you need to get rid of? Because sometimes we just have to get rid of stuff. Isn't that amazing? And again, I want to stress, don't worry about the how. The how is going to come. It's not during the new moon phase, you don't need to worry about the how. All you need to do is worry about the intention, the way that you want to feel, what you want to grow. You're planting the seeds, and the seeds are not of the how. The seeds are the idea, where you want to be, the belief, right? So new moon in Gemini that's happening on early Monday morning, collectively for all of us is happening in the third house of communications. Gemini represents communications. Gemini is the social butterfly. She is out there, she's connecting, she's communicating, she's thinking, she's this beautiful airy sign, airy, not Aries, an airy sign that's very thoughtful and is also variable. Like if you know any Geminis or if you have any Gemini energy, we all have Gemini energy in some part of us, but the Gemini likes a variation. It likes everything. Now, Geminis are really good at going with the flow. They may not be very good at strategizing and going deep into things, but if you need to know a little bit about everything, you want to ask a Gemini. So when we're thinking about the new moon in Gemini, the new moon in Gemini is really about us setting intentions on how to connect with others. I'm going to say this again. The new moon in Gemini is about connecting and communicating with others. So in a business standpoint, when we're running our businesses and when we're running our brands, the biggest thing that we need to do as business owners and business leaders is to communicate and connect. So what better time than the new moon in Gemini to set a clear intention about your vision on how you want to connect and how you want to communicate. You get this? Is anybody, am I missing some comments here? If you guys have questions, I know there's a couple of people here. I would love to know your questions because I want to repeat this again because this is so important in our businesses. If we're not connecting and if we're not communicating to the right people, then we don't really have a business, right? If we're not connecting to the right people, and the right people are the people that we serve best who also need our expertise, it's a relationship, it's a connection, it goes two ways, right? If we're not connecting with them and we're just like saying all kinds of stuff to not the right people, our message is going to get lost, right? So if you're struggling with thinking about what kind of ritual you want to do or what kind of intention that you want to set for your business during the new moon in Gemini, you're going to want to be thinking about how you want to create the vision so that you can connect and communicate with others. Now, if you know your chart and you can run your chart and see exactly which house Gemini is going to fall in for you, or the moon sun conjunction is going to fall in for you in which house, that's going to give you even more specificity as to how you can tailor your intentions, right? So for example, I'm not going to go through all of the houses, but for example, if your Gemini and sun conjunction happens in the fourth house of creativity, right? We're still focusing on how to connect and communicate, but then now you can set your you can really specify your intention about how can you creatively and confidently communicate and connect with your ideal customers, right? If you're for you in your chart, if the moon sun conjunction for the new moon happens in the, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my chart up here, if it happens in the 11th house, the 11th house of like hopes and wishes and group dynamics, you're going to want to like maybe set an intention about how to communicate with a group, how to teach a class to a group in an effective way, right? So you can see how all these houses can flavor the new moon in Gemini so that you can really make a ritual that's very unique to you. Now, I want to just go over some steps on how everyone can create a ritual. As I mentioned, rituals are so important in our everyday lives, from like life milestones, celebrating life milestones, to graduations. When we collect a bunch of people, or even if it's a ritual just for ourselves, we are, what's the word? We are empowering that intention because we're creating a celebration around that through ritual. So there are 5 steps to every ritual that you can play around with, and using your own culture or your own background or your own whatever you love to do to kind of enrich it and make it your own, but you want to follow these basic 5 steps to creating a ritual. And because we're creating rituals for the new moon is about setting intentions, like literally like planting seeds in the soil. Like the soil is going to figure out how to, right? We don't have to worry about how to. All we have to worry about is what is that seed that we want to plant, and then going and planting in that seed. And again, if you guys have questions, please go for it and answer it. Put in the comments. I would love to know. So 5 steps to every ritual. The first thing is that you want to make and clear space, right? And when I say make and clear space, this is like your energetic space. So, you can play some music or do some sound meditations or even use a smudge stick. Get rid of all of that negative energy. Clear out the energy, right? You also want to perform the ritual in a space that is clear of clutter, because my desk is cluttered right now. Thank goodness you can't see it. You want to clear your clutter as well, right? You want to create a clear space energetically, also of time. You have to block out the time. If you don't schedule and prioritize your rituals, you're going to run out of time to do it. So maybe you need to hire a babysitter. Maybe you need to get your husband to take the kids, or maybe you have to do it like in the bathroom by yourself, right? Where nobody's going to interrupt you. Or if you have a small group of girlfriends, you could do it for like girls' night out. Do a group ritual. That adds even more power to your intentions, right? So first step, make space. Clear everything. Clear your mind, clear the energy, clear the physical space. So after you clear a space, the next thing that you want to do is you're going to want to open up the ritual. And one of my favorite ways of opening up the ritual is to get myself into a state of flow. Now, state of flow is going to be different for everyone, right? I'm an air person. Like I have so many planets in air. So for me, thinking is a way that I get into flow, like meditating or journaling. That's a really good way for me to flow. For people who are more into their bodies, maybe doing like a yoga posture, a set of postures, a salutation, to get your body into the mix of flow. Maybe you're a super high energy person and you put on some Lizzo and like some music and dance it out. Whatever you need to kind of get into your head so that you're open up to being in the flow and being present with the energies that you're going to be creating during the new moon. Okay, so if you need help with kind of getting ideas of getting into the flow, I have a great training on my website called I can't even remember. I think it's called Brand Activator. I'm a counselor. But basically, it teaches you how to look at your overall elemental makeup that's based on all of the planets and your astrology, and looking at your elemental makeups to know energetically how you get into the flow. And so you base it off your elements, and that training is for free. It's on my website. You can find it, and the worksheet is in the Savvy Luminary here in the files section. So you can always go through that if you're looking for better ways to get into the flow. Like some people just can't meditate. I get it. Don't do it. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. But the second step ideally is you want to get into the flow. Okay, so you cleared your space, you got into the flow. Now you're ready to actually like perform your ritual. And for this one, it's a new moon ritual of setting intentions, right? So hopefully you've taken the next few days to really clarify your vision. Remember, you need to have a clear vision. You don't need to have the how-tos worked out. You just have to have the belief and the feel, and however you vision best of what you want your business, of what you want and what you want to do to communicate and connect with your ideal customer. That's what New Moon in Gemini is about, connecting and communicating. So having your vision of how you want to connect and communicate so that we can set it during the new moon. So one of the ways that you can do to set your intentions is you can call in a guide and ask for support. So I love to call in spirit guides. If you have a relationship with angels, or you have a relationship with any deity in your religion, or if you just like to pull pull up like goddess archetypes. I love goddess archetypes. You know, pull in a guide that can help you spiritually, that can help you with this intention of connecting and communicating with your ideal customers, right? Ask your guide for support. Tell your guide what your intention is. You can say it out loud. Speaking words of intention out loud is extremely powerful. Our words have so much meaning, right? So speaking out our intentions, make sure everything is always positive, right? The spirit world doesn't understand negative, so frame everything in the positive. You can write your intentions down and ask your spirit guides to help you. You can meditate on your intentions. Just get very clear of what you want and how you want to feel with your vision, and is going to really crystallize your intention, right? Now, if you want to take it an extra step woo, there's a couple of different ways that you can really literally embody your intentions. If you are a water person, you can really like, I was going to grab some water, but I only have my iced tea here. You can grab a glass of water and tell the water your intentions, and then drink that water. You've literally embodied your intentions. Or if you write it on a piece of paper, I don't know if Post-its are very biodegradable because I don't know these, but you can write it on a piece of paper, and if you have a green thumb, you can literally plant your intentions with a seedling or with a potted plant, and with hopefully in the soil that has access to Mother Earth. You can plant your intentions that way. I've done it before and it's always super fun. I know that sounds really woo-woo, but I love doing that way. But there's lots of ways that you can take your intention and bring it into the earth. So do what works for you. So that would be the third step, is actually performing your ritual. Actually, I'm sorry, that's the fourth step. Calling in your guide is the third step. Clear your space, open your ritual, call in your guide, perform the ritual and however you want to embody it. And then when you're done, you can release and close the ritual. So you want to thank your guide for helping you and going forth into the world to help you accomplish your intention. And you just want to be super grateful, and then you can just close the ritual. Just say thank you, the ritual is done. You know, blow out your candles if you set some candles, put away your altar if you've done that, but just be very intentional, be very mindful and thoughtful of the actions that you're taking while you're performing this ritual. Now, if you want some extra credit, right? And I know that we're all overachievers here, so everybody here wants extra credit. Now, if you think about the energy that you want to use to set your intention, whatever that energy is, right? So for example, to connect and communicate, maybe you want to have 10,000 followers on Instagram, right? The coveted 10,000 followers on Instagram. If that's your intention, that you want to be an Instagram influencer, then you want to pass along that same energetic force. So hop onto Instagram and start liking and commenting on others people's things, right? If your intention was to create to get more testimonials to be able to connect, well, write a testimonial for somebody else. Whatever your intention is, pass it forward to somebody else so that you can start expanding that energy, because once you start putting that energy out, it enthusiastically starts to snowball for you. Are you guys here with me on this? Does this all make sense for you? I would love to hear what you guys are going to be doing for your new moon in Gemini ritual. I would love to hear what your intentions will be. I would love to see photos of your rituals. I would just love to hear how you're doing and if this has had any impact on you. All right. So thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, I don't see any questions here, so don't worry about it. There's no pressure to ask questions. But please share what you're doing, and please pass forward your energies and use this beautiful time. Ooh, do the water ritual. So if you're gonna do, you're very welcome, the counselor. You're very welcome, Tammy. One extra special thing about the counselor, I learned this from a shaman that I used to work with a few years ago, and he's the one who taught me about embodying using water. When we tell our intentions or our wishes or whatever you want to call them into a cup of water, if you want to extra energize this, do this at night. Tell the water your intentions at night, and put the water in your nightstand overnight, and then drink the water first thing in the morning. I love that ritual. I don't know from what culture it's from. I just learned it from my shaman. I think he did a West African type of divination. I'm not sure if it's West African or not, but it's such a beautiful way to start embodying what we desire, right? So thank you again, everybody. Oh, yes, and Pisces. And then Joanna, if she's still here, she could probably give us some tips on how to create rituals for the bath. Tammy said, how long do you work on the intention? Till the next new moon or until it comes to fruition? Well, the thing about intentions is that if we hold on to them too much, right? Those things just kind of like fall out of our hands. It's this kind of funny where we set the intention and then we just let it go. Now, it's not to say that you don't work on the intention. You for sure take action. You have to tell the universe that you're serious about the intention. If your intention is to like make $1,000 in a week, but you don't do any sales, then the universe is like, really? Does this woman want to make $1,000? Like, I don't think so, because she's not doing anything to actually close a sale, right? If your intention is to meet a lot of people and then you don't actually go out to any events to meet people, then the universe is like, huh, what is this? That's kooky dukes. So basically what they say is if in Gemini, the new moon is in Gemini and the full moon of Gemini is in 6 months. So when we work with with the moon phases, we like to look at 6-month intervals to see if the intention is still something that we really want, or if our life has redirected and we just need to pivot a little bit, right? We don't want to hold on to our intentions so hard that we either lose them through our grasp or we get so stuck to them when they're actually not fitting our lives anymore, right? I hope that gives a little bit of wisdom to that, your question about how long to work on your intentions. But generally, the phase after the new moon to the first quarter, and then first quarter to the full moon, that's your action taking time. The first quarter to the new moon is when you start putting the plans together for your intention. And you keep on working on it. If it's something that you really want, then make it happen. I know for me, this is a perfect time for me because when we're thinking about communicating and connecting, I'm taking kind of the summer off. I'm not doing any client work. I decided to close down Crystallize for the summer instead of having another session of it, because I'm going to be redoing all of my messaging. And this new moon in Gemini, for me, couldn't come at a better time because I'm really digging in deeper and like just re-pivoting 5 degrees or so on how to get more aligned with who my ideal customer is. And if you've been following me for the last year or so, I've been going all out and just kind of like seeing what's going to work, experimenting with who my people may or may not be, and I'm getting clearer and clearer and clearer. So this doesn't happen overnight. This happens in iterations, and I want you to all keep on experimenting and seeing what works for you. So thank you, everybody, for joining me on this Friday afternoon and evening. Have a wonderful, beautiful weekend, and I can't wait to see some photos and hear your what you did for your new moon ritual in Gemini. Go out there, set your vision of how you want to communicate and connect with your ideal customer. All right, love to you guys. Bye.